Hi, my name is Venus O'Hara and welcome to another video. Today I wanted to talk about sexual incompatibility and if a relationship can survive sexual incompatibility. And I was inspired to make this video after receiving a comment on a video I made the other day about if it's okay to break up with someone via text message, because I told a story about how I broke up with an ex-boyfriend on text message, and it's something that I don't regret at all. It kind of like, long story, but I'll link to that below if you're interested in that story. But anyway, the reason why the relationship didn't work was because I think that the sex just didn't work, and that affected other areas such as intimacy, and I think it created a lot of resentment, and yeah, it just had a kind of ripple effect in other areas of the relationship. So someone asked me here, did you discuss what you needed from him or what's missing, like in the sex, before you dumped him? Did you give him the chance to change? Yes, I did. And this is a kind of relationship that lasted for 2 years. And the sexual incompatibility was from day one. So obviously when you start a sexual relationship with a new partner, there can be, a bit of, let's say, a teething period or an adjustment stage when you're both getting used to each other. And, because maybe you're so into that person that you might be impotent the first few times or something like that. I mean, that's happened to me in the past. But when the trust has grown, then everything else has grown as well, if you see what I mean. However, in this particular relationship, that just never resolved itself. And I think if you have a lover who's a bit nervous or can't maintain an erection at the beginning, I think you have to kind of be... I was very patient at first. I was trying to be quite patient, but got to a point where I did kind of blame myself, and I felt completely inadequate as a woman and in a relationship that was, if you're just you're promising fidelity to someone who can't fulfill you, it definitely creates frustration. So that was the main issue. The sex did not work. And the odd time that it did work, for example, when he could maintain an erection, and also there was this, sometimes throughout the penetration we would change position, and then he's lost the erection again. Or sometimes we'd be on the sofa, and I would be like lying with my head on his lap, and he'd be stroking my hair, and then I would open my eyes, and he was just looking at the wall. So I was just thinking, wow, I've never experienced anything like this before. So I didn't really know how to approach the subject, because obviously if you mention impotence, I was aware that I could provoke even more impotence, no matter how I approached it, no matter how I sugarcoated it, if you can, I'm not sure. But I mean, I tried to be incredibly diplomatic about it. But the problem was he was in absolute denial, and he said it's never happened to him before, and it was kind of just with me. So that made me feel really bad, because I've always been in relationships where I've created a kind of physical and sexual cocoon, and this was it was just awful for me. But at the same time I didn't leave it, because I don't know, you get involved in relationships and then you're kind of emotionally hooked, and that's what happened to me. And because other parts of the relationship did work, for example, we loved traveling, and we liked to do this. When we weren't having sex, we did enjoy each other's company sometimes. But yeah, travel was the main thing that united us, and I think we respected each other's work ethic as well, and he liked the fact that I was an independent woman. So yeah, some of those things that on paper sound really good were quite good, but then this lack of intimacy just created a lot of resentment. And sometimes at the weekend it was really hard for me, because sometimes on a Sunday morning, for example, I used to wake up and he used to wake up, and then he would go to the loo, and then I would be like half asleep and thinking, oh, I hope he's going to come back and snuggle me and maybe we could have sex, because I wasn't really into my sex toys as much as I am now at that time. So I needed the sex. And then he would go straight to the kitchen and make me an orange juice, freshly squeezed orange juice, which is wonderful. But, then he would come with the orange juice to me, and I was like, oh, thanks, breakfast in bed. And then he would go to the lounge and start watching the bloody Formula One. So annoying. So I had my breakfast, and then I would just get up and have a shower and start ironing my blouses for work. And I was in my 20s and I was thinking, why am I living like this when I'm so young and I'm just so horny? What can I do? And one day I finished the ironing and I got my rabbit vibrator, and I didn't really have solo sex as often as I do now back then. But I remember I was on my bed and I was almost having an orgasm. I actually heard him walk down the hallway. He opened the door and that was the moment where I went, ah, wow. And he looked at me and then just closed the door and went and walked back down the hall again to watch the rest of the Formula One. And I was just thinking, wow, this is so sad. So I just, so if a relationship can survive sexual incompatibility, well, I lived it for 2 years and I definitely gave warnings, but it got to a point where I just couldn't take it anymore, and I realized that I wasn't being fair to myself. So that was the big thing. Yeah, so plenty of warnings, but I think that some relationships can overcome sexual incompatibility, especially when they're in a phase when sex is not the most important thing. For example, I've got a friend who's got young children. I don't think she hasn't had sex with her husband for 2 years, but they're still very together as parents, and they're still snuggling on the sofa and all those type of things. So, and also maybe couples who've been together for a long time, they might not have that much sex, but they're still together. There are still other things that bring people together. It's not about having regular passionate sex with loads of orgasms. I think it's relationship is based on a lot more things than that, but it's definitely important. So whether you can overcome it or not, I think depends on how important it is for you. So what do you think? Do you think a relationship can survive sexual incompatibility? And if you have an experience similar to mine or with sexual incompatibility, I would love to hear from you. And you can leave a comment in the comment section below. And if you have suggestions for more videos about sex toys, dating, relationships or orgasmic living, then please don't hesitate to contact me at venus@venusohara.org, or you can add me on Instagram at venusohara. Thanks for watching.